At 51 years old, Clinton was working 12 to 14-hour days in mergers and acquisitions, flying internationally multiple times a month, family at home, multiple client breakfasts every week, and he still lost 30 pounds in 18 weeks. No batch cooking, no Tupperware, and no more than 3 hours a week in the gym. And he has still kept the weight off for 3 years now, with 4 more kilos of muscle on top of it. In this video, I'm going to break it down exactly how we did it, the nutrition setup, the training approach, and the one principle that made it all stick. If you are a busy person who thinks your schedule makes getting in shape impossible, stay until the end, because that belief is exactly the thing holding you back, and by the end of this video, you are going to see why. Why busy people give up before they even start. Most people in Clinton's position never even try, and the reason is simple. Every trainer or nutritionist they talk to gives them a plan that has nothing to do with their actual lives. They get told to batch cook on Sundays, to count every macro in an app, to bring Tupperware with them, and to hit the gym 5 or 6 times a week. None of that fits into a life with 14-hour days, international travel, and family. So they assume getting in shape is just not possible for someone like them, and they move on. And that assumption is wrong, but it's easy to understand why they make it. The fitness industry is built around people who have nothing to do but train, meal prep, eat, and stare at themselves in the mirror. When those people become coaches, they design systems that work for their own lives, not for their clients' lives. Clinton had tried the standard approach before and it had not worked, not because he lacked discipline, but because the system was never built for someone like him. That is the real problem. The nutrition setup that actually worked. Clinton already ate. He didn't need a meal plan. He needed a structure that worked around what he was already doing. He got 2 meals delivered per day from a meal prep company and bought 2 days from a store that was 1.5 minutes away from his office. For his client breakfast, we gave him a simple framework to pick from restaurant menus without derailing his progress. We focused on controlling what was easy to control and didn't stress about what was not manageable. The goal was reducing calories in total while keeping protein up, done in the least disruptive way possible. He did not track macros, he didn't cook, he did not carry Tupperware with him through an airport. The principle we operate by comes from a quote by Exupéry. Perfection is achieved not when there is nothing more to add, but when there is nothing left to take away. That is the exact mindset we bring to nutrition. Strip it down to what actually moves the needle and leave everything else alone, and make sure that it remains simple enough that someone with a packed calendar can actually stick with it long term. If you are dealing with the same problem Clinton had, feeling like your schedule makes this impossible, that is exactly what we help solve. Click the link below, book a call, and we'll figure out if we are a good fit. Now let's keep going. How we handle travel without killing progress. Every 3 to 4 weeks, Clinton would travel internationally. During those weeks, his rate of progress would slow down to 0 to 1 pound instead of his usual 2 to 3 pounds per week. Some weeks it was genuinely 0. The wrong move would have been to obsessively try to manage everything about those travel weeks, which would have stressed him out and made the whole thing unsustainable. Instead, we gave him a handful of guiding principles for travel and left it at that. He was making great progress every other week. There was no reason to put more pressure on the weeks he was already managing just fine. Across multiple weeks, he was making consistent progress, and the result was still 30 pounds lost over 18 weeks, even with the slower travel weeks built in. This is the art that most coaches miss, squeezing the most progress from the least input. Brute forcing a result with obsessive tracking and perfect eating might work for someone with nothing else going on, for short term at least, but for someone like Clinton, it would have fallen apart in week 2. The goal was never perfection on every single week, it was consistent enough progress over time that the number kept moving in the right direction. The training structure that did not waste his time. Clinton was already going to the gym before he came to us. He was doing a body part split, which is where you train 1, maybe 2 muscle groups per session. Chest on Monday, legs on Wednesday, and so on. The problem with that structure is that one missed session because of a meeting or a flight means that an entire muscle group goes untrained for at least 2 weeks. Life like Clinton's cannot run on a schedule that predictable, so we switched to full body training 3 times per week, so it didn't matter which days he got to the gym. And even if he got so busy that he could only get 1 session in per week, he still trained every single muscle group at least once that week. Instead of doing 20 sets per session at low intensity, we did 3 to 5 hard sets per muscle group per session, all taken close to failure. And here's why that matters. If you are doing 20 sets for a muscle group and only 3 of those are actually challenging, actually close to failure, you just wasted an hour. The other 17 sets were basically just warming up, some blood flow, some mobility maybe, zero muscle growth or muscle preservation. Busy people cannot afford to go to the gym and waste 80% of their time. So with Clinton we trained less, trained harder, and made every single set count. If your gym sessions feel like they are going nowhere and you don't have the hours to keep spinning your wheels, click the link below and book a call. We will show you exactly what needs to change. Why the results have lasted 3 years. A lot of people lose weight and then put it all back on within 12 months. Clinton has kept it off for 3 years now, and he added 4 kilos of muscle on top of it. It was down to 3 things. The plan was built around his life from day one, not a fantasy version of his life with unlimited time and no responsibilities. Because you only asked him to manage what was actually manageable, the habits stuck instead of falling apart when the pressure was on, and there was no extreme diet to bounce back from, no 6-day gym schedule that collapsed as soon as he got busy. This all resulted in a system designed to bend around his life, not fight against it. There is a difference between a transformation that lasts and one that doesn't. When the system fits the person, they don't need constant motivation to keep going because the habits are not that difficult to maintain in the first place. That is what we always aim to build. Here's the honest reality for most high performers in their 40s and 50s. Every year you wait, it gets a little bit harder. Muscle is harder to build, fat is harder to lose, you get busier, and recovery takes longer. As they say, the best time to deal with was 5 years ago, the second best time is now. Clinton was 51 when he started. 12 to 14-hour days, travel every few weeks, a family at home, and he still got it done in 18 weeks without changing his job, his social life, or his travel schedule. If his schedule couldn't stop him, yours probably can't stop you either. The reason most people in his position never try is because they think the system requires them to become a different person first. Ideally, an unemployed, divorced, qualified chef. But it doesn't. The system must fit the person. That is the only version of this that can actually work long term. If you're ready to stop putting this off, click the link below, book a call, and we will see if we are a good fit. No pitch, just a conversation about where you are and whether we can actually help.